I came home from work on a Tuesday to find my wife sitting at the kitchen table with her two best friends, Maya and Rachel. 3 wine glasses, a folder thick with papers, and smiles that didn't reach their eyes. "Hey, babe," Lisa said, her voice honey-sweet in that way that used to work on me. "We need to talk about something important." I set my lunchbox down and looked at the 3 of them. Maya wouldn't meet my eyes. Rachel smiled like a shark. "What's going on?" I asked. Lisa slid the folder across the table. "I've been thinking. The house is only in your name. That's not fair. We're partners, right? I need to feel secure." I opened the folder. Deed transfer documents. All prepared, all flagged with little arrows pointing to signature lines. "You want me to sign the house over to you?" I kept my voice calm. "To us," she corrected. "Joint ownership. It's what married people do. It's what trust looks like." I flipped through the pages. Not joint ownership. Full transfer to her name only. Every page, every clause, my name off, hers on. "This isn't joint," I said quietly. "This puts the house entirely in your name." Rachel leaned forward. "Lisa deserves security, David. She's been a good wife. This is standard." "Standard for what?" I asked. "For protecting herself," Maya added, finally looking at me. "You have all the power right now. What if something happens?" "Something like what?" Lisa reached across the table and touched my hand. "Baby, don't make this difficult. I'm not asking for much. Just sign it. Show me you love me." I looked at her fingers on mine. Her nails were freshly done. Expensive gel work I'd paid for last week. Her new bracelet caught the light. The one she said was from her sister. "When did you have these drawn up?" I asked. "Does it matter?" Lisa's voice had an edge now. "It does to me." She pulled her hand back. "A few weeks ago. I've been feeling insecure for a while. You're always at work. I needed to do something proactive." "Proactive," I repeated. I closed the folder and slid it back to her. "I need time to think about this." Rachel scoffed. "Think about what?" "Your wife is asking for basic respect." "I respect her enough not to sign legal documents at my kitchen table with an audience," I said, meeting Rachel's eyes. "If this is important, we'll discuss it with a lawyer present. Both of us." Lisa's face went red. "You're saying you don't trust me?" "I'm saying I don't sign things without reading them properly." "That's just smart." "This is insulting," she said, voice rising. "I'm your wife. I shouldn't have to beg for what's rightfully half mine." "The house isn't half yours," I said calmly. "I bought it 2 years before we met. I've paid every mortgage payment. You haven't contributed to the down payment or the renovations." Maya gasped like I'd slapped someone. "You're really going to nickel and dime your own wife." "I'm going to protect what I built," I replied. "If Lisa wants to discuss property, we can do it through proper channels." Rachel stood up. "You're a piece of work. You know that." "I'm a man who pays attention," I said. Lisa grabbed the folder and stood. Her chair scraped loud against the tile. "Fine. We'll do it your way. But don't be surprised when I have to protect myself." "Protect yourself from what?" I asked. She didn't answer. The 3 of them left through the front door like they were storming out of a bad restaurant. I heard their voices on the porch, sharp and angry, before car doors slammed. I stood in my kitchen, alone with 3 wine glasses and a bad feeling in my gut. The wine glasses sat there like evidence. I picked one up and saw the lipstick mark on the rim, deep red, Lisa's shade. I took a picture of the table setup with my phone. The glasses, the folder she'd left behind in her hurry, the chair still pushed back at an angle. I didn't know why I was documenting it. Instinct, maybe. I opened the folder again and read every word this time. The transfer was comprehensive. It didn't just put the house in her name. It included a clause that made me responsible for the remaining mortgage payments, even after transfer of ownership. Another section outlined that I would maintain the property and cover all repairs and renovations. I'd be paying for a house I didn't own, maintaining a property I had no legal claim to, all while my wife held the deed. If we divorced after this, I'd have nothing. The house would be hers, and I'd be the guy who signed it all away. I took photos of every page. My phone buzzed. "Lisa, we need to talk when you're ready to be reasonable. I'm staying at Maya's tonight." I typed back. "Okay. No, I love you. No, be safe. Just okay." I couldn't sleep. I kept seeing Rachel smile, that predatory confidence. This wasn't Lisa's idea. Or maybe it was. But Rachel had been the architect. Rachel worked in real estate investment. She knew exactly what those papers meant. At 2 a.m., I got up and went to my office. I pulled our financial records from the filing cabinet. Joint checking account, savings, credit cards. I logged into our bank and started going through statements. The first irregularity I found was from 2 months ago. A charge to the Riverside Inn, a boutique hotel downtown. $340. I was at a work conference in Denver that week. I remember because I called Lisa every night and she'd seemed distant, distracted. I kept scrolling. Another hotel charge. The Grand Meridian. $415. That was the weekend she'd said she was going to a spa retreat with Maya and Rachel. More restaurants I'd never been to. Charges at wine bars, late-night diners, a steakhouse that ran $200. Then I found the jewelry charge. $873 at Hartman & Sons, a high-end jeweler in the city. The date was 3 weeks ago. I've been working a double shift that Saturday, covering for Jimmy who had a family emergency. Lisa had come home that night around midnight, happy and flushed, saying she'd been out with the girls. She'd kissed me, told me she loved me, and gone straight to shower. I remembered thinking the shower was odd. She usually waited until morning. I took screenshots of everything. 42 suspicious charges over the last 4 months. Hotels, restaurants, jewelry, shopping trips, rideshare services going to and from addresses I didn't recognize. The total, just over $9,000. Our joint account that we both contributed to, my construction salary, and her income from the dental office where she worked part-time. Money that was supposed to be for our future, for the renovation we'd been planning, for the trip to Japan we talked about. She'd been spending it on someone else, or at minimum, on a life she was keeping hidden. I printed everything. 2 copies. One for me, one for whatever came next. At 6 a.m., I called my buddy Eric, the real estate attorney, who owed me a favor from when I helped him move last year. Eric, I need advice. My wife tried to get me to sign over my house. He was quiet for a second. Your house that you owned before marriage? Yeah. Bought it 2 years before we even met. Don't sign anything. That's separate property in most states. If she's pushing this hard, something's wrong. You need to protect yourself. What do I do? Get copies of everything. Bank statements, property documents, anything with both your names. And David, consider talking to a divorce attorney, just to know your options. It's that serious? A spouse demanding you sign over separate property with her friends as witnesses? Yeah, it's that serious. That's not normal marriage stuff. That's strategy. I thanked him and hung up. Then I sat at my desk and stared at the stack of printed bank statements. The evidence was clear. Something was wrong. Something had been wrong for months, and I'd been too busy, too trusting, too comfortable to see it. I thought back over the last 6 months. Lisa had changed. Small things at first. She'd started dressing nicer for work, spending more time on her appearance. She'd bought new lingerie that I'd never seen her wear at home. She'd become protective of her phone, taking it everywhere, even to the bathroom. She'd pulled away physically. We used to have sex 2 or 3 times a week. Now it was maybe twice a month, and only when I initiated. She'd say she was tired, stressed, not feeling well. There was always a reason. She'd stopped asking about my day, stopped telling me about hers. Our conversations had become transactional. Did you pay the electric bill? Can you pick up milk? What time will you be home? I thought it was a phase. Marriage ebbs and flows. Everyone says that. I thought we were in an ebb, and we'd flow back eventually. Now I wondered if we'd ever flow back, or if I'd been living with a stranger who was waiting for the right moment to take everything. At work, I couldn't focus. My foreman, Jimmy, noticed halfway through the morning. You look like somebody ran over your dog, he said, pulling me aside at the job site. Wife trouble, I said. The kind that needs a lawyer or the kind that needs flowers? The first one. He whistled low. Sorry, man. That's rough. You need time off. No, I need to stay busy. All right. But if you need to talk, I'm around. Been through 2 divorces myself. I know the signs. What are the signs? He leaned against his truck. When she stops fighting with you. Arguments mean she still cares enough to be mad. When she goes cold and quiet and starts making plans you're not part of. That's when you know she's already gone. She's just figuring out the exit strategy. His words hit like a hammer. I worked until 7 that night, later than I needed to. When I got home, Lisa's car wasn't in the driveway. No text, no call. I made myself a sandwich and sat at the kitchen table in the same spot where I'd refused to sign away my house. The folder was gone. She must have come by during the day to get it. My phone buzzed at 8:30. Lisa, having dinner with the girls. Don't wait up. Me? Okay. She didn't come home that night either. The next morning, I left work early and drove to a law office I'd found online with good reviews. The attorney, Patricia Vance, had a no-nonsense photo and a bio that said she specialized in high-asset divorce and property protection. Her office was in a modern building downtown, all glass and steel. The waiting room had leather chairs and abstract art that probably cost more than my truck. Mr. Chun, she said, shaking my hand. She was 50-something, sharp eyes, a handshake like she meant it. Tell me what's going on. I laid it out. The folder, the friends, the pressure, the strange charges on our account. I showed her the photos of the documents, the bank statements, everything. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she folded her hands on her desk. Do you love your wife? She asked. I thought I did. That's not a yes. Here's what I think is happening. Your wife is positioning herself for a divorce, and she's trying to maximize her take. The house transfer would give her enormous leverage. She'd own the property, and you'd have to fight to get it back, which is expensive and messy. The fact that she had witnesses suggests she might try to claim you verbally agreed, or that you were somehow coerced if you refuse. My stomach dropped. So this was a setup. Possibly. The bank charges suggest an affair, but that's circumstantial. What matters legally is that she's spending marital funds without your knowledge or consent. That matters in a divorce. It shows financial misconduct. What do I do? She leaned back in her chair. You have two options. One, you confront her and try marriage counseling. Maybe there's an explanation for all of this that isn't infidelity. Maybe she really is just insecure. But based on what you've told me, I don't think she's interested in saving this marriage. I think she's interested in winning a divorce she hasn't filed yet. And option two, you file first. You control the narrative. You protect your assets. You don't give her time to hide money or create more evidence against you. You get ahead of whatever she's planning. File first, I repeated. If you're ready, I can have papers drawn up by end of week. We'll ask for full ownership of the house, which you'll get because it's separate property. We'll split the marital assets 50-50, which is standard. And we'll document the financial misconduct so she can't claim alimony. How much does this cost? Retainer is $5,000. Total cost depends on whether she fights or settles. If she fights, could be $15,000 to $20,000. If she settles, maybe $8,000 to $10,000. I thought about the $9,000 she'd spent on hotels and jewelry for someone who wasn't me. Do it, I said. Patricia nodded. Smart man. I'll need you to sign some forms and give me copies of everything you showed me today. Don't tell her you came to see me. Don't tell her you're filing. Act normal until she's served. How long until that happens? About a week. We'll have the papers ready. Then we'll use a process server. It'll be clean and professional. She'll probably be angry. She'll be furious. Good. Angry people make mistakes. I left her office feeling like I just stepped off a cliff. There was no going back from this. Once I filed, it was real. The marriage was over. But sitting in my truck in the parking garage, I realized the marriage had been over for a while. I just hadn't wanted to see it. I went home to an empty house. Lisa texted at 6 p.m. Staying at Maya's again. Need some space to think about us. Me? Okay. Take the time you need. It was a lie. I didn't want her to take time. I wanted her gone. But I couldn't say that. Not yet. That night, I packed a bag with my important documents. Birth certificate, passport, social security card, the deed of the house, my grandfather's watch, some clothes. I put in the back of my truck, under a tarp. If things went sideways when she got served, I wanted to be able to leave fast. Lisa came home the next evening with takeout and a smile that looked practiced. I got Thai food, she said, holding up the bag. Your favorite. Pad Thai and spring rolls. Thanks, I said. We sat at the table. She served the food like we were on a first date, smiling, asking about my day. How was work? She asked. Busy. We're finishing the Morrison project this week. That's great, babe. You work so hard. The compliment felt like a trap. How was your time at Maya's? I asked. Good. We talked a lot. About relationships. About what makes them work. What did you decide makes them work? Trust, she said, looking me in the eye. And security. Knowing your partner has your back. Makes sense. I'm sorry about the other night, she continued. I came on too strong. Maya and Rachel thought the ambush approach would work, but I should have talked to you alone first. Yeah, you should have. So let's talk now. She reached across the table and took my hand. I really do feel insecure, David. The house is your safety net. What's mine? If something happened to us, God forbid, I'd have nothing. I'd be starting over from zero. We have a joint savings account, I said, with $12,000. You have a house worth $400,000. See the imbalance. I bought the house before we met. I've paid every mortgage payment. You've lived here rent-free for 3 years. Her jaw tightened. I'm your wife, not your tenant. Then act like a partner, not a landlord in waiting. She pulled her hand back. What does that mean? It means I saw the bank statements, Lisa, the hotel charges, the restaurants I've never been to, the jewelry that isn't on your finger. Her face went pale, then red. You're spying on me? It's a joint account. I have every right to check it. Those charges are none of your business. My money is my business. She stood up fast, chair scraping. So that's what this is about. You think I'm cheating? Are you? How dare you accuse me? I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm asking a question. Are you cheating on me? I don't have to explain myself to you, she said, voice shaking with rage or fear. I couldn't tell which. You're being controlling. You're being paranoid. This is exactly why I need the house in my name. So I have something if you decide to go crazy and throw me out. I'm not throwing you out, but I'm not signing over my house either. We'll see about that, she said, grabbing her purse. I'm leaving. Don't contact me unless you're ready to apologize and sign those papers. Lisa, wait. She stopped at the door, hand on the knob, back to me. I filed for divorce this morning, I said. You'll be served in a few days. The silence lasted maybe 5 seconds. Then she turned around slowly. You what? I filed for divorce. It's over, Lisa. Her mouth opened and closed. Then she laughed, sharp and bitter. You're bluffing. You don't have the spine to leave me. I'm not leaving you. You already left. I'm just making it official. You bastard. You absolute bastard. I tried to talk to you. You shut me down. You demanded I sign over my house. You've been lying to me for months. What did you expect? I expected you to be a man and fight for your marriage. I'm fighting for myself, I said. That's what men do when they realize they're being played. She threw her purse at me. It hit the wall and spilled, phone and wallet and keys scattering across the floor. You're going to regret this, she hissed. I'm going to take everything from you. The house, your money, your reputation. You'll be sorry you ever crossed me. Get out, I said quietly. This is my house too. No, it's not. And you'll have the papers to prove it in about 3 days. She gathered her things off the floor, hands shaking, and left without another word. The door slam echoed through the house. I sat at the table with cold Thai food and felt something I hadn't felt in months. Relief. My phone started blowing up an hour later. Text after text. Maya, how could you do this to her? Rachel, you're a coward. A pathetic coward. Lisa's mom. My daughter gave you the best years of her life, and this is how you repay her. Lisa's sister. I always knew you were trash. I blocked them all except Lisa. She needed to be able to contact me about the divorce logistics, but I didn't need her support group attacking me. Lisa herself sent a string of messages that went from angry to pleading to threatening over the course of 2 hours. You can't do this to me. Please, David, don't do this. We can fix this. I'll change. I'll do whatever you want. You're making the biggest mistake of your life. I'm getting a lawyer, and I'm taking everything. I didn't respond to any of them. The next morning, I got a call from Patricia. I wanted to give you a heads up. The process server will deliver the papers today, around 2 p.m. She'll probably call you. Don't answer. Don't engage. Let her be angry. It helps us. Helps us how? Angry people say things they shouldn't. If she threatens you, save the messages. If she tries to damage your property, document it. We want a clear record that you were reasonable, and she was not. Got it. At 2:47 p.m., my phone rang. Lisa. I let go to voicemail. She called again. And again. By 3 p.m., I had 6 missed calls. Then the text started. You served me at work. At work. In front of everyone. You humiliated me. Everyone knows now. Everyone. I hate you. I hope you die alone. I screenshot everything and sent it to Patricia. She called me at 4. Well, she's reacting exactly as expected. Her attorney just reached out to my office. They want to negotiate. That was fast. She's embarrassed and angry. She wants this over with before people start asking questions. What are they offering? Half the house value, alimony for 3 years, and you cover her legal fees. I laughed. It came out bitter. She's delusional. She's desperate. The hotel charges you found? Her attorney knows about them now because she had to disclose when I asked about infidelity. She's trying to settle before we dig deeper and find out who she was meeting at those hotels. What do you recommend? Offer her $30,000 and a clean break. She keeps her car, her personal items, her retirement account from work. No alimony. You keep the house, your retirement, and your truck. It's more than fair given the circumstances. Do it. She'll probably counter. Be prepared for that. She did counter. 2 days later, Patricia called. She wants $50,000 and the furniture. The furniture I bought. Yes. No. $30,000. She keeps her car and her clothes. That's it. I'll tell them. A week of silence. Then Patricia called again. She accepted. We'll do the paperwork exchange next week. You'll write her a check. She'll sign the settlement agreement, and it'll be done. The divorce will be final in 60 days after that. Just like that. Just like that. You protected yourself, David. A lot of men don't. The day of the paperwork exchange, we met at Patricia's office. Lisa showed up with her attorney, a slick guy named Brandon who looked like he played golf every weekend. We sat across from each other at a long conference table. Lisa looked smaller, somehow tired. Her eyes were red. She'd been crying. My client would like to make a statement, Brandon said. Patricia looked at me. I nodded. Lisa cleared her throat. David, I know you hate me right now. I know I messed up, but I want you to know that I did love you. I do love you. I made mistakes. Bad mistakes. But that doesn't erase what we had. Are you done? I asked. She flinched. I just want you to know I'm sorry. Noted. Can we sign the papers now? Brandon whispered something to her. She nodded, wiping her eyes. We signed. Page after page. I wrote her a check for $30,000. She took it with shaking hands. That's it then, Brandon said. My client will vacate the property by the end of the week. She has until Sunday, Patricia confirmed. After that, it's trespassing. Lisa looked at me one more time. I hope you find someone who makes you happy, David. I really do. I hope you figure out what you're looking for, I said. We left through different doors. That weekend, I changed the locks. I hired a cleaning service to deep clean the entire house. I repainted the bedroom, got rid of the bedding we'd shared, bought new sheets and pillows. I took down the photos of us from the walls and packed them in a box that went into the garage. Maybe someday I'd look at them and remember the good times without the bitter taste. But not yet. Lisa moved into an apartment across town. I heard through a mutual friend that she'd had a falling out with Rachel. Something about Rachel encouraging her to go through with the house transfer knowing it was a bad idea. Maya had stopped talking to her too, apparently disgusted that Lisa had actually been having an affair. The guy's name was Derek. He worked at the dental office with her. He was married too. His wife found out around the same time I did and filed for divorce as well. Small comfort, but comfort nonetheless. 3 months after the divorce was final, I was at the hardware store picking up materials for a deck I was building in the backyard when I ran into Eric. David, man, how are you? Good, I said, and meant it. Really good. I heard about the divorce. I'm sorry it went that way. Don't be. Best thing that could have happened to me. He grinned. You know, you look different. Lighter, maybe. I feel lighter. Turns out not being lied to every day is good for your health. We grabbed coffee at the diner across the street. He told me about his kids, his practice, his life. Normal conversation between friends who didn't have to tiptoe around marital problems. You seeing anyone? He asked. Not yet. I'm taking time to figure out who I am when I'm not trying to fix a broken marriage. That's healthy, man. Take your time. The right person will come along when you're ready. I hope so. We talked for another hour, then parted ways. I drove home in my truck, windows down, music up, feeling something I hadn't felt in years. Freedom. When I pulled into the driveway, I looked at the house. My house. The one I'd worked for, paid for, and almost lost to someone who saw me as a means to an end. I walked inside and looked around. New paint, new furniture, new energy. It felt like mine again. I made dinner, a steak on the grill with roasted vegetables. I ate at the table, no distractions, no tension. Just me and my thoughts. My phone buzzed. A text from Jimmy. Poker night Friday at my place. You in? I'm in, I replied. Life was starting to look normal again. 6 months later, I met Sarah at a friend's barbecue. She was a teacher, funny and smart, with a smile that reached her eyes. We talked for hours about books and travel, and the stupidity of reality TV. She asked me if I'd been married before. I told her the truth. Yes, and it ended badly, but I learned from it. What did you learn? She asked. That love without respect is just a transaction. And I'm not interested in transactions anymore. She smiled. Good answer. We took it slow. Coffee dates, walks in the park, dinners where we split the check. She met my friends. I met hers. There was no pressure, no games, no hidden agendas. When she asked if she could stay over one night, I said yes. When I woke up the next morning and saw her in my kitchen making coffee, I felt something I thought I'd lost. Hope. A year after the divorce, Lisa sent me an email. It was short. David, I know I don't deserve a response, but I wanted to say I'm sorry for everything. I was selfish and stupid. You deserve better. I hope you found it. Take care, Lisa. I read it twice, then deleted it. Not out of anger, but out of closure. That chapter was closed. She wasn't part of my story anymore. I was building something new now. A deck in the backyard where Sarah and I had barbecues with friends. A workshop in the garage where I'd started woodworking again, something I'd given up when Lisa complained about the noise. I'd reconnected with my brother, who I'd drifted from during the marriage. We had dinner once a week now, talked about sports and work and life. I'd started running in the mornings, something I used to do before Lisa said it was a waste of time. I felt stronger, healthier, more like myself. The house wasn't just a property anymore. It was a home. My home. People ask me sometimes if I regret the divorce, if I wish I tried harder to save the marriage. I tell them the truth. No. I regret not seeing the signs sooner. I regret wasting 3 years on someone who didn't value me. But I don't regret ending it. Because the day I refused to sign those papers, the day I chose myself over her manipulation, that was the day I got my life back. And I'm never giving it away again. Not for anyone. Not for anything. The house is mine. The life is mine. The future is mine. And that's worth more than any signature on any piece of paper. I'm sitting on my deck now, the one I built with my own hands, watching the sun go down. Sarah's inside, making dinner. My brother's coming over later to watch the game. Jimmy and the guys are stopping by tomorrow to help me install the new cabinets in the kitchen. My phone's on the table next to me, face up, no secrets. The mortgage is paid on time every month. The bills are organized. The savings account is growing. Everything in my life is exactly where it should be. And I sleep like a man who knows he made the right call. Some people might say I'm lucky, that I dodged a bullet, but luck had nothing to do with it. I paid attention. I asked questions. I refused to be a fool. And when someone showed me exactly who they were, I believed them. That's not luck. That's wisdom. And it cost me $30,000, a few months of stress, and a marriage that was already dead. Cheap price for a lifetime of peace.